Helo, fe enw I Rebecca Thomas. Rwy'n 24 mlwydd oed ac rwy'n astudio doethuriaeth yng Ngholeg Sant Iowan, Prifysgol Caergrawnt.
Right, and what does that mean?
Hi, I'm Rebecca Thomas. I'm 24 years old and I'm studying a PhD at St John's College, Cambridge. I grew up in Cardiff and went to school at Ysgol Gyfun Gymraeg Glantaf, so Glantaf Welsh-language comprehensive school, and I studied there until I finished sixth form, and then I decided to apply to St John's College to study history as an undergraduate. I knew from a very early age that I wanted to study history. It's always interested me, and when it came to applying to university, I came on an open day to St John's College at Cambridge, and from then on it was a really easy decision to apply here because it's such a great environment for studying history, especially because it's such a historic place with so many different buildings and from different periods and so much to see, but also so many different resources in terms of libraries. The working library is great because it has all the books that you could possibly need, really. It's the first place that I come when I'm searching for a specific book. But then you also have the special collections in the old library. So that's all the unique manuscripts that John's has. And it's really a great opportunity to come and have a look at those manuscripts because it's great to see such important items firsthand in the flesh. When it came to applying for my master's, I decided to switch to the Department of Anglo-Saxon, Norse and Celtic, and I'm still there doing my PhD. It's the only department in England that offers the opportunity to study Celtic studies, Anglo-Saxon England, Scandinavia, all together in one department. I've been very lucky with financial support whilst I've been studying here at John's. I managed to obtain funding for my master's from St John's College itself, and then for my PhD I also obtained funding through a Vice-Chancellor award and a scholarship from the Arts and Humanities Research Council. That financial support has obviously made my research possible. It's also given me a bit of a confidence boost, really, because it's made me feel that my research is actually worthwhile and that somebody else is willing to invest in it, which I think when you're working for 3 years on a project, as I am, it really does make a difference. My research focuses on 9th and 10th century Wales, and this is a really interesting period because arguably Wales doesn't actually exist in the 9th and 10th centuries, and this raises lots of interesting questions then about identity. Who were the Welsh? Did they perceive themselves as Welsh, or did they just perceive themselves as British? And my PhD is essentially trying to shed some light on this question. I've got a few texts that I'm looking at specifically, one of them being the Historia Britonum, a history of the Britons, composed in North Wales about 829 or 830, and it tracks the history of the Britons from the beginning of the world to the 7th century. So the manuscript I have here is from the special collection at St John's, and it includes a copy of Bede's Ecclesiastical History of the English People, which was composed in 731. And whilst Bede isn't one of the texts that I'm focusing on specifically, it is nonetheless hugely influential for my work. One of the reasons for this is because it had a huge impact on the Historia Britonum. When he does have something to say about the Britons, it's normally not very complimentary. So, for example, he criticises the Britons for not helping to convert the English to Christianity. And it's quite possible that this negative attitude towards the Britons was what prompted the composition of the Historia Britonum. That it was perhaps an attempt on behalf of the Britons to set the record straight and to provide their own version of history, which was slightly different to that which is given in Bede. I've come to the old library at St John's College to have a look at the Morgan Bible, which is a translation of the Bible into Welsh printed in 1588. This was the first complete Welsh translation of the Bible, and so it's of huge historical significance. Prior to this, the Welsh would only have had access to a Bible through the medium of English or Latin. But it is also another step in this narrative of presentations of identity, adaptation of identity, which I'm focusing on in my PhD. What's exciting about this book for me personally is that William Morgan was actually an undergraduate at St John's, and it was actually one of the reasons I applied to John's when I was applying as an undergraduate. The connection with William Morgan made the college stand out for me, and it provided inspiration for my application. Y Beibl Cysegr Lan, sef yr Hen Testament a'r Newydd. Eithir aros di yn y pethau addysgaist, ac a ymddiriedwyd I ti, gan wybod gan bwy y dysgaist. Ac I ti yn fachgen wybod yr sgrythyr lan, yr hwn fydd abl i'th neithir yn ddoeth I iechydwriaeth, trwy'r ffydd yr hon sydd yn Christ Iesu.